Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video we will be looking at AQA Alevel Psychology Specimen 1 Paper 3 Exemplar Answers for Relationships, which you need to know for AQA Alevel Psychology. I hope you enjoy this video and find it helpful. Let's get started. Please note that these answers have been produced with knowledge of the mark scheme but have not been approved by the mark scheme themselves. There are 3 assessment objectives, AOs, in psychology. In this video they are color-coded. AO1 Knowledge, purple. AO2 Application, blue. AO3 Evaluation, red and green. Question 1. Investment is one feature of the investment model of relationships. Identify one other feature of the investment model of relationships. 1 mark. One feature of the investment model of relationships other than investment is satisfaction. Read the item and then answer the questions that follow. A psychologist investigating the investment model of relationships devised a self-report investment scale for use with a group of 100 female participants. The scale gave an investment score for each participant on a scale of 0 to 20, with 0 representing no investment in relationships and 20 representing extreme investment in relationships. The psychologist calculated measures of central tendency for the investment scores. He found that the mean investment score was 8.6, the median investment score was 9.5 and the mode investment score was 13. Question 2. Sketch a graph to show the most likely distribution curve for the investment scores in this study. Label the axes of your graph and mark on it the positions of the mean, median, and mode. 3 marks. Sketch of a negatively skewed distribution as follows. 1 mark for shape of curve with tail to the left. 1 mark for axis labels, investment, score on horizontal axis, number of participants. Frequency on vertical axis. 1 mark for positioning the mean, median and mode appropriately in relation to one another. Question 3. What sort of distribution does your graph show? Negative skew. Question 4. Explain one limitation of a self-report technique. 2 marks. One limitation of asked report techniques is that they lack objectivity and has a high risk of researcher bias. The interviewer's personal biases and opinions can influence the direction of the conversation, potentially leading to skewed results. This can impact the objectivity of the data collected. Question 5. Which one of the following sequences shows the correct order of Duck's phases of relationship breakdown? Write the letter of your chosen answer in your answer booklet. 1 mark. A dyadic, intrapsychic, social, grave dressing. B intrapsychic, dyadic, social, grave dressing. C intrapsychic, social, dyadic, grave dressing. D social, dyadic, intrapsychic, grave dressing. B intrapsychic, dyadic, social, grave dressing. Question 6. Discuss evolutionary explanations for partner preferences. 16 marks. Darwin proposed the theory of evolution, which is the process by which species adapt to their environment. Over time, random mutations in genes that are advantageous to the animal become more widespread. This can occur in 2 ways. Firstly, through natural selection, where genes that provide individuals with a reproductive advantage are more likely to be passed on to subsequent generations. Over time, these advantageous genes increase in frequency within the gene pool, shaping the traits and behaviors of a species. The mutation increases the animal's chances of survival, which increases the likelihood the animal will live long enough to reproduce and pass on its genes. Secondly, through sexual selection, where competition for mates between individuals of the same sex affects the evolution of certain traits. Any physical traits that enhance reproductive success will gradually be passed down. Animals that possess features that make them look attractive to members of the opposite sex will compete members of the same sex. The mutation increases the animal's attractiveness to potential mates, which also increases the likelihood the animal will reproduce and pass on its genes. There are two types of sexual selection. Intrasexual selection refers to competition within one sex, typically males, for access to mates. This type of selection often results in male-male competition, where individuals with traits that improve their chances of winning these contests, e.g., strength, aggression, size, are more likely to reproduce. Over time, this leads to sexual dimorphism, physical and behavioral differences between males and females. Males often develop exaggerated secondary sexual characteristics, such as antlers in deer or large body size in gorillas, which signal their fitness to both rivals and potential mates. Intersexual selection occurs when one sex, usually females, chooses among potential mates based on certain preferred traits, such as physical appearance, displays of strength, or indicators of good health and genetic quality. This preference drives the evolution of traits that are deemed attractive or beneficial for offspring. New and Hammerstein, 1995, described this in terms of a biological marketplace, where males offer genetic or resource-based benefits, and females choose based on the value of those offerings. Genes associated with attractiveness thus become more saleable, increasing their representation in the population over time. A strength of sexual selection theory is that it has cross-cultural support. Buss, 1989, conducted a study across 37 cultures with over 10,000 participants and found consistent patterns in mate preferences. Males valued youth and physical attractiveness, while females prioritized resources and strength. These patterns align with evolutionary principles suggesting that humans seek mates who maximize their reproductive success. Consistency across cultures strengthens the universality of the theory, indicating that mate preferences may be biologically ingrained. This suggests that evolutionary mechanisms may play a fundamental role in shaping human behavior across diverse environments. A limitation of sexual selection theory is that it relies heavily on self-report methods. Buss's study used questionnaires which may be misunderstood across cultures or suffer from translation issues. This reduces the internal validity of the findings, as the responses might not accurately reflect true mate preferences. If the methods are flawed, the conclusions drawn about universal mate preferences may be questionable. A strength of sexual selection theory is its ability to explain specific physical preferences. Singh, 1993, found that men preferred a waist-to-hip ratio of 0.7 across different cultures, as it is an indicator of fertility. This supports the theory that certain physical traits are unconsciously selected due to their association with reproductive fitness. These universal preferences reinforce the argument that mate selection is influenced by evolved biological mechanisms. A limitation of sexual selection theory is that it overlooks sociocultural influences. Bernstein, 2015, argued that women's preferences for resources may be due to societal inequalities rather than evolutionary drives. Sharma et al., 1999, also found that women in economically unequal societies valued resources more highly. This suggests that environmental and cultural factors play a significant role in shaping mate preferences, potentially undermining purely biological explanations. Evolutionary theories may therefore lack a holistic view, failing to consider how context shapes behavior. A limitation of sexual selection theory is its reductionist nature. The theory reduces complex mate preferences to genetic instincts, ignoring factors such as shared interests, values, or emotional connection. For example, Buller, 2005, found that women in university settings may prefer high-status men not for evolutionary reasons, but because of shared social and educational status. This oversimplification fails to reflect the complexity of human relationships. Thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more content like this. Bye.